Yo, crypto nation and mining family. Crypto nation and mining family. What's going on? Of course, like always, it's not financial advice. Yo, crypto nation and mining family. What's going on, guys? So got some interesting, like some hardware, and then a little bit of mining news, of course, guys. Of course. Without any further ado, let's dig into this juicy little bit of information, guys. Ooh. So definitely have some new leaks that are coming out. Gigabyte is amongst one of those. So they have finally leaked out almost I would think it's their entire motherboard lineup with full PCI 4.0 support, ready to roll out with Rocket Lake Series S coming later on this year. So and it's been covered by a few other people. Some of the stuff's been leaked by video cards themselves, some by Bench Life, and then PCH Kasi has released a lot of the other ones. But of course, you know, the one that I'm gonna like the most is gonna be this bad boy. I mean, this thing being a completely water cooled, so your CPU's water blocked. Your north and south buses are water blocked. So, I mean, if you're doing a complete custom build, this is a really nice option for you. Make sure that you definitely have the correct power supply that gives you the dual 8-pin pinout for the power on the motherboard. This is going to drink it for sure. Comes with Wi-Fi on this thing built right in. You just plug in some antennas and make sure it's not like buried into a desk like how I've got mine, and it'll work fine. Even my motherboard's got wireless capability on it, but I'd have to put like extension cables on it to get it out from underneath my out from the behind my desk, basically. And the other reason why I prefer to just hardwire it is when you're going wireless, there is that inherent what they would call packet loss, so data being lost to the voids of air. And if you're gaming like I do, from time to time, you're going to notice the little latency frame drops here and there. It will get quite annoying. So I kind of don't recommend doing that. If you're just kind of skimming, you know, doing research, writing stuff up, using it for school, whatnot, wireless is not bad. It won't react anything different than your phone. Problem, you know, like I said, problem is if you're trying to get low latency and stuff like that, hardwire all the way. Yeah. You know what's funny on this thing is that they still come with HDMI on here. Even whenever I was first starting to build computers 13, 14 years ago, I've never used onboard ever. Of course, I mean, I've started off AMD with my CPUs from a long time ago, and AMD wasn't always known for onboard graphics. You know, no fluff. Gave you a basic chip, you know, because it just works. So, do any of you guys still use this HDMI built into the motherboard? If you do or don't, you know, put a comment down below. Let me know if you do or don't. Certainly, I would like to know. Poll question. You know, gotta answer it. Just let me know. Yes or no. Yes, you use it. No, you don't. You know. And if you do, I want to know why. Why? You can get an NVIDIA 1650 Super with GDDR6 memory on it for like under $200. It makes no sense to use onboard graphics that are horrible. But moving on, they did release the rest of the stock photos for it all. Some are the ATX board, some without the Wi-Fi adapter built into it, but all with HDMI. Blows my mind that even in today's era that they still have built-in HDMI. And then, you know, they do have their white scheme if you were looking for that. You know, I always wish that whenever they're doing like a white scheme, that they could sit there and change the color of the PCB. It's just to drop a little white dye in there. I'm just saying. Other than that, I mean, it's like, you guys know I do like Gigabyte. I got a lot of Gigabyte graphics cards mining away in the mining room. So I mean, not very bad, not a bad company at all. I either kind of flip-flop between Asus and Gigabyte. Asus, the ROG Strix, of course, but that's usually harder to get your hands on. It seems like they run those as like more of like a limited production almost. It drives me nuts. But trying to find that stuff new all the time, it usually, if you get big batches, especially when it's newer hardware, it flies off the shelves. I tried to buy another Asus ROG Strix 1660 Ti, and they were sold out for the longest time. And I think they're still kind of hard to find, even now. And then, of course, Dell is coming out with another laptop. But it looks like they are going to be bringing a 17-inch line back. Ooh, finally, a bigger workstation screen. Instead of I think they were using like a 16 by 9. They're going to be doing 16 by 10 display. So they're not going to have like this odd, awkward screen anymore. It's actually going to be back with the industry standard, which will be nice with that. I'm not really big on laptops, just because of the limitations that laptops have. But if you need a workstation on the go, I still myself would steer away from Dell. After dealing with a few other ones, I mean, my last laptop that I use it from time to time is a Toshiba Satellite. I mean, that's how old that one is. But I like the keyboard layout on there, and it suits my needs. You know, I'm not looking for something that's hardcore. I just need it to be able to hook up to the internet so I can putz around while I'm on the go. I'm not doing any gaming on there. I didn't buy it for gaming. I like it because of the ruggedness, especially with the way that particular hard drive is, that it's got a G4 sensor in there, and it will park the heads on the hard drive because it's, you know, spinning disk. And this way you don't have to worry about, you know, oh my god, I bumped it, or it fell over, now the hard drive's done. No. Versus the one that my wife's got now, which is like she's got like a 19-inch touchscreen. And I actually like the touchscreen on that, because, like, you know, laptop mouse pads are horrible 9 times out of 10. You just kind of get used to them and how they operate. Not that they're any good, but as far as Dell, some of the stuff that they're putting in there, not bad. They're talking about putting in an NVIDIA graphics card in there. I'm sure they're probably going to cut some corners with that one, and they'll either be looking at they're either trying to strike a deal on the newer 1650s, or they're going to try to strike a deal on the first gen 1650 that had the GDDR5 memory modules in there, because Dell is known for cutting corners. It's some of the reasons why I rag on them so much, especially like with, it's like I used to use the Dell Dimension 3000 computer back in the day. It was a decent computer back in the day until you started realizing that the hard drive, oh my god, they got the cheapest hard drive in there and they failed. You would have quadrants fail on the hard drive. I'd never experienced a computer that would just die. It would blow my mind. And the way that it was just, I had a lot of complaints about my Dell 3000 right towards the end, and that's whenever I built my computer like 13 years ago that I used for the longest time, because I built it to do exactly what I needed it to do with parts that were quality. So there's that. But it looks like they're going to be, leaks of them bringing in NVIDIA solution on there. Like I said, it's probably going to be the 1650 Super. I would guess it's going to be the GDDR5 memory modules in there, and they'll be low power cards. So it'll work perfectly on a laptop. I wouldn't be like going, oh man, they're putting that card in there. That's actually one that I would, if I was a manufacturer, I'd be looking at that one, but I'd want it to be the the GDDR6 memory modules, not the 5. But they're going to do what they're going to do with that aspect. And then, it's like I've just had bad overall experiences with them. I like the XP, and it's like that I used to have back in the day, but it's like my wife, I forget what kind of laptop she's got. We'll be releasing a video soon of me actually tearing that one apart and replacing the battery on it. I just forget off the top of my head what kind of a laptop it was. It's a little bit of an older one, but it still rocks out pretty nicely. And I would be wondering how that keyboard feels too, because the Dell's keyboards have been less desirable. I've known a few people who have had Dell laptops, and they have like those really soft buttons. I like kind of the mechanical feel on some of the laptops, but that's just a preference thing at that point. It gives you a little bit better responsiveness on the keys. No mistypes or anything because they're so soft. You're like, did I press it? You go to press it a couple times and then no. But they will be. It looks like they're. It's just going to be this year's model on this one, but it looks like the one big key thing is that they're bringing back the 17-inch screen, and that's about it. And they have a normal ratio finally. I think there's a picture of one of them. Oh yeah, here we go. It's just like they're taller, not so much wider. Me personally, I'd rather have a wider display screen. This way I can sprawl out. I got 3 monitors sprawled out in front of me, because I don't want them to be all stacked up when I have to, look up or anything like that. I know it's not the way that it is on a laptop, but their aspect ratio on their screens were a little goofy, I do have to say. And that's one thing that a lot of the community for them were like, yes, finally we have normal screen. Alright. I wonder if they'll ever use AMD in their stuff. But I think they do use AMD, but that's going to be on their Alienware side. But yeah. Talking about AMD, looks like they're coming out with Gen 2 Ryzen 3s now. I don't think it was that they did anything. I'd be curious if they did anything differently on these. because they're talking about unlocked performance, delivering twice the performance, and it'll have faster communication between the chip and RAM, which, guys, for mining, especially mining Monero, I bet you that actually will give a nice little healthy performance bump. I'm positive of it, because you need that communication with RAM for mining Monero. So I would, if anybody gets one of these, certainly hit me up. I would love to know what these things hash at. So I mean, it's still going to be a 4-core 8-thread, but I think that these are just bin chips that they've unlocked the power on there just a little bit. On some of these and I'm not even sure if they unlocked it for the target high wattage on those, but I bet you they allowed different areas of the chip to get a little bit better power on there. This way it did not thermal throttle. They knew that it was within safe ranges. I'm sure that they did a few tweaking on the first gen stuff, and a lot of these are binned, especially on the X format, because it will hit higher core clocks on there. So the 3300X will be max clock speed will be 4.3. I'd be curious to see what the voltages will be on the cores, and then the 3100 will be at 3.9. So you're not looking at too much of a performance kick between the two of the new chips that they're going to be coming out with, but I bet you with the faster throughput to RAM, which will be one of the things that it's going to be unlocked on, will definitely give it a better bump. Like, I bet you can it'll support faster RAM, and with that being said, that means you're going to be able to in turn overclock the CPU and hold it into its turbo clock a lot more effectively. So anybody that gets these, I would love to know the performance. Definitely drop a comment in down below, or hop into the Discord, and you can sit there chit chat with me directly. I'd be really curious. And talking about mining with AMD, I also have a few Intels that I do have mining. They would be on my mining specific motherboards. A lot of those are, I think all of them, at least all of them that I have, are all Intel based CPUs on a mining specific motherboard. So I've got the Gigabyte H110 BTC Pro mining motherboard. Have absolutely no issues with it. The only thing I didn't like about it is when you first turned it on, it's got LEDs all over the board. It's like, what mining person needs LEDs? It says you're not trying to be glitz and glamour. You're trying to be efficient. So thankfully there was a way to in BIOS to turn the LEDs off on the board. Awesome. But in that board I have the Celeron G4400 CPU in there. So mining on Monero. Let me go ahead and blow this up here. Yeah. So now we got this. Okay. So as you see here, this thing is kind of bouncing between. Well, it depends on the what everybody's doing in the household, of course. If you're got a few people streaming a couple of things in the household, it does affect a little bit of the hash rate on the CPU itself, but it's more that what I have actually noticed, And I first started noticing it with my FPGA rig. So I don't have that one pulled up on this PC. I'm not SSH'd into it. But this is my rig that I have on Simple Miner OS. This isn't something that's native to Simple Miner, which you can sit there and make it mine Monero, but it'll mine Monero on the GPU and the CPU all together natively through Simple Miner OS. This is just the CPU itself on Simple Miner, which I have to open up an SSH terminal and go into it because it's all Linux based, so it's Ubuntu, and just go through and had to make that. Basically I had to go through and make the XMrig on here separately as an executable file separate from Linux itself. Not separate from Linux itself, separate from Simple Miner itself on Linux. There we go. Get the thoughts together. But whenever I was mining Beam on this rig, okay, the hash rate was about 480 hash a second. And you notice now, guys, that this thing is basically stupid allergies. They are horrible since we've gotten like some nice weather and some rain. Gotta love it. My nose has been itchy and sneezy all day. Thank God I've been home all day. Ain't got a job in the world. But all of a sudden, whenever I stop mining Beam, I've got it mining the Ethereum right now, because it trades for more Bitcoin, and that's what I mine. I mine for Bitcoin. I mine shitcoins for Bitcoins. So here it is. I'm mining Ethereum, and that's going to get traded right into Bitcoin. I'm just saying. If I can get the 32 ETH before they go to proof of stake, I might hold on to it like that, but I'm not gonna count on it. I'm gonna count on more that I'm probably gonna exchange that into some Bitcoin. Everything turns into Bitcoin before I spend it. It's weird how that happens. But yeah, it is what it is. But so what I noticed on my FPGA, and I noticed it when I was mining Handshake, I couldn't mine Monero on the CPU whatsoever. It would actually crash the FPGAs themselves, or it would crash the whole rig out due to CPU usage. So when they sit there and they say that, oh yeah, mine on the CPU, it doesn't make a difference. It's not like you're using it while you're mining. That's not always true. So just kind of pay attention to the algorithm. That if you are mining a really heavy algorithm that does rely a little bit on the CPU, you can actually negatively impact the whole performance of the rig. So what I noticed is that the miner on Simple Miner would show 1 hash rate, and you'd go to Poolside, and its average hash rate was almost 10% less while mining Monero on there. So if I would have not mined Monero on there, it would have actually submitted a better hash rate. Because to see a hash rate, plus or minus 5%, that's cool. It's when you're hitting that 10% differentiation. I mean, if it's for the positive, cool, you're hitting like a little spike. But if it sits there and lives life 10% below what your mining rig is saying, either you're having a connection issue, you're being skimmed, or you're mining Monero. And not only on those particular algorithms are you seeing it on Poolside that the hash rate is, significantly less than it should be. You'll also notice that even on XMrig, that the hash rate that you would estimate that it should be at is also not at its full potential. So, with that being said, guys, if you got any comments or questions or anything like that, certainly fire them in down below and let me know. Let me know, guys. I've got to know this. Let me pull up this screen here. Do any of you guys still use this HDMI port? When was the last time you ever used the HDMI port off the motherboard? And I mean used it, not for getting drivers on there so it'll register your GPU. When was the last time you actually used it? Let me know. Comments down below. And while you're down there, guys, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and share this video with one person. That's all you gotta do. Helps me grow my channel and all that good stuff. Get all that knowledge out to you awesome people out there. And with that, I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.